Dear Lord, I thank you for another day that Colby and I can come together and just lift your name up and share the experiences we've had in our lives about getting over and overcoming, not getting over, but overcoming the disappointment in our lives, overcoming addictions. And thank you for the hope that we have in our lives now because of you and how you've set us free from those. We pray that you'll bless this time as we talk. Holy Spirit, we just ask that you would give us words to speak and to share this as you would want us to. Ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, people, everybody, thank you for joining us. That was loud. We are on episode 19. We're kind of technically on season 2, is what I'm going to call it, since we're on our second year. So we had a couple new subscribers. For those that are new, thank you very much for subscribing. There is a notification button, so we try to post twice a month. If we miss you or something like that happens, just hit that bell. You get notified anytime we post. We're basically just two average guys. We're nobody special. We don't have any degrees that are in psychology or anything like that. We're just guys that have been through some stuff. And we'd like to share what helped us get through things. Just heads up for those that are new, we are faith-based. So this will bring up some scriptures. Obviously, we prayed in the beginning. If this video kind of speaks out to somebody that you're thinking of, feel free to share it with them. If you have a comment or something you want us to talk about in the future, leave that in the comments down below. We'd really appreciate that. Just kind of helps us out with what kind of topics we should do.
Very much.
So this is episode 19 about disappointments. And Forrest, I must say, when you chose this topic, it reminded me all the times that I disappointed not only myself but others. And it brought back memories, but at the same time, I'm very thankful for where I am now and overcome a lot over the last couple of years. So thank you for being part of that process and helping me do it all.
Glad to be here. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. I am very glad. So a lot of the notes we have, or all the notes we have for today's episode, is off of Wikipedia. So just heads up, that's our little sources. So jumping right into it, I'm just going to give you guys the definition that they have. And it says, disappointment is the feeling of dissatisfaction that follows the failure of expectations or hopes. Similar to regret, it differs in that a person who feels regret focuses primarily on the personal choice that contributed to a poor outcome, while a person feeling disappointment focuses on the outcome itself. It is a source of physiological stress. The study of disappointment, it causes, impact, and the degree to which individual decision are motivated by a desire to avoid it is a focus in the field of decision analysis, as disappointment is, along with regret, one of two primary emotions involved in. That just kind of ends. What's that last word? Decision making. Sorry, it was kind of blurred out.
The main thing we're just trying to hit on there is how the feeling of dissatisfaction that follows the failure of expectations or hopes.
Right.
Because whenever disappointment doesn't happen unless you really are expecting something and hoping something to happen by what you said.
Yeah. That's why I try to go through my day-to-day life with low expectations, because I don't want to
Come on now, how's that for living?
It's a good way to do it, I think, at least. That way I get surprised by things that I wasn't expecting, and it's more of a surprise. Oh, yeah. So it's I used to expect a lot and hope for a lot, so now I'm just go with the flow, and whatever comes my way, I thank God each day.
It's like when I go into church or to a worship thing, I'm expecting to see God do something. And it's pretty good when I go to church every Sunday.
Yeah, especially our church. We get a lot of Holy Spirit movement and some good stuff.
But then when I go into a situation at work, expecting for someone to follow through, and they don't, man, does the disappointment just eat you up.
Yeah, I've been dealing with that too. So just real quick on disappointment, one of the things that came to my mind as well is when I was going through smoking a lot, anytime somebody told me that, oh, I'm not mad that you're smoking, I'm just disappointed, that cut like a double-edged sword and really kind of hurt. But at the same time, I'm glad they did, because it kind of made me look in the mirror and step back and realize, okay, maybe I'm disappointing myself at the same time.
So how did they word it?
They're not mad at me, they're disappointed.
It's almost like it's worse.
It is worse, I think.
You'd be mad at me because you can get over that quicker.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. I would say I'd rather have somebody mad at me, even though getting mad at kind of... You see it, rethink it, refeel it, but disappointment, man, that really does brew a storm and just kind of builds.
Well, I like how you just said it makes you refeel it.
Mm-hmm.
Because our minds don't know the difference between real or imaginary.
Mm.
So every time anybody out there, or every time you and I relive an experience, those same emotions pull up those same endorphins, and it kicks off the same feelings.
Yeah.
I have this one situation where a builder screwed us over for like $3,000, and we just had to redeal it. And dude, those emotions keep coming up, and I'm just like, Lord, I don't want to deal with this no more. It just sucks because I did everything to the best of my ability, and they're saying I lied, and I'm just like, see, like the feelings coming up right now. Right.
I would be disappointed in that builder. Like, that's just shady.
That's the feeling.
Yeah.
Just like you said, when someone, well, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed in you that you're still smoking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be...
What did you do to deal with that?
When people are disappointed, I'd smoke more. Not anymore, but that's what I did back in the day. I was like, oh, you're disappointed? Well, I'm going to light up another one.
Let me show you how to be disappointed more.
Yeah. Well, it made me feel a false sense of okay, or helped me get my mind off it, which was a temporary Band-Aid that was really like drinking poison. So I'm glad I'm dealing with my situations in a lot healthier manner.
Hey, that pretty much goes along right with what you just this said. It says, you know how addiction works? It starts like this. There's some kind of disappointment or distress in your life, just like someone said that. And as a result, you choose to deal with that distress with some kind of substance maybe, or a physical action.
Right.
It might be sex, might be drugs, it might be alcohol. But that thing promises what you just said, escape. It promises freedom, a sense of escape, and so you do it. But when you do it, you take the addicting substance as a way of dealing with life, and the trap is set. Yeah,
and it gets set real tight, which is frustrating because you feel like you can't get out, and it's like you're in a dark wall or dark room with no windows or doors, and you're just like, you turn left, you can't go there, you can't turn right, it's just you're sitting there stuck. So you just deal with what you know. So that's a fun feeling, aka not fun feeling.
You know what just came back to my mind? How long have you been at your work now?
Coming up on a year and 8 months, something like that.
8 months.
Yeah.
So try to bring you back to your first 5-6 months of your work.
Rough.
Can you think of any disappointed times that you were at work?
Weekly. There was times I was, no offense to my manager if you ever watch this, I was disappointed in him a little bit at some points because he would let things slide, or favoritism with some people, or would get after me for something that other guys would do 100 times worse. Yep. AKA talking. If I get caught talking to another coworker who is in outside sales about a customer that I just delivered to for 5 minutes, it's, hey, can you get back out there just in case? It's like, this Joe Schmo's been in here for 30 minutes doing nothing, and you're not going to talk to him? Yep. So that kind of made me disappointed, but I got over that, let it go. If something I couldn't change, I just kind of accepted what it was.
That goes to, how do you deal with disappointment? Because I know sometimes you got to let it go. Yeah. But when you faced it, you had to think of, okay, is it worth dealing with? Because there are some things, just like this young lady that I read the story to you about.
Yeah, that was rough.
There's a story in Yahoo News off the internet that I printed off. It broke my heart big time. Yeah. A young girl in New Jersey, she ended her life at the age of 14 because someone jumped her in high school in the hallways, and they started beating her, kicking her, and over 3 or 4 day period, it was so bad with the videos, and the police didn't do anything, and the school didn't do anything, that she thought it was, I mean, for your thoughts to get so like that.
I couldn't imagine. I'm just glad I'm done with high school, because if I had to go through high school, even how bad it was 11 years ago, with the amount of social media they have nowadays, even though we had it then, it wasn't the same. I couldn't do it.
14 years old. So if anybody out there, if you're ever dealing with bullying, if you're dealing with anything like this, please try to reach out to somebody.
Right.
Don't stay stuck in your own head. Don't stay, and I don't mean to say stuck in a non-sensitive way, but it's very, when we stay in our own heads, the disappointment, and when you dwell on it, it's going to expound. It's going to keep on multiplying.
Right.
And until you start thinking different thoughts on how to handle it. I mean, for what she went through, God bless her. I don't know if anybody knows that her name is Adriana Cooch. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Adriana Kuch. And her father doesn't want her memory to go to just be forgotten. But she was born on 3/11/08, and she passed away on February 3rd, like 7 days ago. They found her.
Crazy.
14 years old. And so, like, when we're talking about this disappointment can lead when we're expecting things.
Yeah.
Disappointment comes with complex emotions. It could be sadness, regret, despondency, where you don't know how to respond to things, and more commonly, anger. Learning how to get over disappointment is a key skill in life, and that's why we're just sharing this stuff. We're sharing the disappointment we've been through, because if we don't learn how to do it, if you just stuff it, what happens when you stuff things?
It gets worse and bruised and kind of takes a mind of its own. It's like the devil's playground. He can then utilize your thoughts to get worse, to attack you more. So don't do that. Give it to the Lord, pray about it, ask help.
I saw one picture that this pastor about disappointment. I saw a sermon this week.
Yeah.
And he pulled out a big old backpack,
Mm-hmm.
and he started shoving things in there, like all the disappointments and stuff.
Got heavy.
And when you shove all the disappointments in there, and the backpack is called looking good, right? And once that backpack gets, I'm fine, I'm looking good. And once that gets, just picture all of the stuff getting stuffed in you. Once it opens up, it's just
explodes
over everybody.
Yeah.
And that's
Never
how
bottle.
I could see, God bless her, and her father and her family. But I could see, I mean, both of us have been close to suicide before, back in our younger days.
Yeah.
But until we learn how to deal with things, we have to be emotionally mature.
What breaks my heart the most about that story is that there was opportunity to solve the issue, not just on her own, but with the police not doing anything, the school not doing anything.
School right away.
That's just, to me, ridiculous. In this new day and age we're having right now, you can't even say a certain trigger word because it offends somebody, but yet somebody gets physically hurt and that video goes viral.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no excuse for that, in my opinion. Like,
School should have done something immediately, because I know that goes to trusting authority.
right.
If we can't trust authority, who can we trust? Then we got to take our responsibility into our own hands and solve it ourselves.
And in that stage in her life, being 14, because that's what, middle school, or is that 8th grade, freshman year? So she's probably a freshman. That's a crucial age. I remember being a freshman. It's a whole new world, but even the smallest thing, because week by week it feels like a month there, because there's so many things going wrong, or not wrong, but going on, that you feel like it's the most important thing and that's the only thing going on. So for her to have just like the video go around, even if it was for a week, that was tormenting her, I bet.
Every day. And
the lack of control that she had, she couldn't do anything about it. And I'm sure word of mouth went quick, and she was probably sitting in class seeing people watching the videos and laughing at her. It's just ridiculous.
At the end of the story, if you guys want to look it up, I did say her name. They have arrested 3 people, and 1 other person got disorderly conduct, but 3 of them got, I think, felony aggravated. So God bless her. And to say disappointment isn't all that bad is putting it lightly.
Very.
Because disappointment in certain situations, especially like hers, we don't know who's going through something like that out there. And if some way, I just made my Just for Today encouraging video, and the word was fun. And at the end of the video, I said, if we could all just encourage one person a day, even if we're having a bad day, because just encourage one person. Hey, hope you have a good day. Hope you have a better day.
Right.
It could make a difference.
Something I hear on the radio, I can't remember what channel it's on, but it says, if you can't find a good person, be that good person.
Oh yeah.
And it's simple, but it's so important, because the world we live in right now, it's almost hard to find the good people.
It's worth getting cussed at.
Yeah. And
some people, what are you, some effing fake person? Or are you just trying to make fun of me? It's worth it.
Yeah, it's something so simple, but something can change somebody's day, save a life.
Disappointment provides information about the way we view ourselves and the world and the people around us. Right. It also helps us better understand what's important to us. Disappointment is like the nurse of wisdom, if we would understand or take time to look into it.
Yeah.
When we face our failures and disappointments, we must not sit down and despair forever, because that despair is what leads to hopelessness. And what our podcast is all about is being a hope dealer. If you encourage one person a day, you're sharing hope.
And hope will spread like wildfire. Is the goal.
Amen. We must find the reason for our disappointment. So if we don't stuff it, and because I'm sure I got to go back to, okay, what was I expecting them to do? Why did I get disappointed? And when we find that, we can learn from it and grow.
What was that one part? I can't remember where it was in the notes, but it was saying when you feel disappointed, it's God's way of redirecting your steps. Was that what it was saying? That one hit home for me, because there was times where I was thinking like, oh, I'm living a good life. I'm doing things the way I think is fun and good. But every turn there'd be more and more disappointment, and each time would feel heavier and heavier. But looking back, God was just laying these perfect stones where it's like, here's a lesson, here's a blessing, here's a lesson, here's a blessing.
Yeah. That's another one where I learned another saying that says, write your failures and hurts in the sand, and carve your blessings in stone.
That's great.
So if we write our disappointments and our failures in the sand, and carve our blessings and our successes in the stone, then they get washed away faster.
Right.
But like you and I, we talk more. We're still friends. We love each other, and we can encourage each other whenever we get down. Now out there, how would you encourage someone that doesn't have too many people to reach out to? Put you on the spot.
So I have a couple different versions to this. The one thing that I would say, if you don't have anybody, you have one person that's always there, and it's God. Even if you're not a Christian, I would encourage you just to pray. Try it out. And you don't have to be grand or big about it or have some long 5-minute prayer. Just sit in a room, sit in your car, sit somewhere private, and just talk to him. Let him know how you feel. Ask him for help. Ask him to guide you. That's what I do when I feel lost or stressed or disappointment or all these emotions that we tend to feel daily, hourly, minute.
He can handle your anger, can't he?
Oh, heck yeah, he can handle anything. The only thing that I've been focusing on lately is not losing control of my anger. I've been doing really well with that. Because you remember that time I kicked my car? Remember that?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Almost broke your foot.
I think I did break my toe. I was disappointed that my car broke down again. But at the same time, one, it's a temporary thing. It's a car. It's not like a family member died. You know what I mean? It was a situational thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to focus on, if it's something small, let it go. If nobody died, it's okay. So I've been focusing on that.
How you just shared it. I remember. I don't know the date, but I can remember when you told me over the phone. And there's not too many people out there that share their failures like that. I can't believe I had such a bad day, and then I kicked my dang car, and I think I broke my toe. I was like, "You're telling me your failures?"
Oh, I'm very open with my failures.
Mm-hmm.
I think being open with your failures more than your success is beneficial. Like, sure, it's fun to kind of like tell somebody you're close to, like, hey, this is awesome, this happened. But letting somebody know, like, hey, I failed at this, and give me some notes on how to not fail at it again, is really important to me, because that you learn from your failures.
Amen.
That way, when it comes up again, you can handle it in a healthier manner. Hence why I'm thankful I don't smoke anymore. My buddy even asked me the other day, I haven't seen him in a long time, like over a year and a half. He finally hit me up, and I've been kind of avoiding him because he still smokes very heavily. He asked me, do you feel any different? Like, you've been unclean for over a year. Like, what's the difference? I'm like, I can handle my stuff better.
Amen.
It's like, I don't freak out over the small things. I'm not disappointed in things that I am expecting, but even I don't expect very much anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful for a lot. That's okay to have.
It's okay to expect things,
Mm-hmm.
but don't set yourself up
Mm-hmm.
when you know it might be different, because unexpected expectations are what usually mess us up.
Right.
When you're just thinking out in la la land, like, this has got to happen. Oh, it's like, okay, the lottery's $500 million. We're gonna go spend $10 and get a ticket, but if you dwell on it, if I get this $500 million, I can do this, this, and this, and this, and this. But when you, oh, bummer, and it's over.
Right.
But when we have something devastating, and you keep dwelling on it, it's even worse.
Yeah. Gives the opportunity for Satan to mess with you more.
So, just like you were just sharing,
Mm-hmm.
there's a study that was done.
Okay.
And this study was called Mending Hearts. So if you look up Mending Hearts study,
Mm-hmm.
there was, I don't know how many people that were in the study, but there was a group that they wrote down their deepest thoughts and feelings about their disappointments
Yeah.
and hurts in life. And then there was a group that didn't write it down.
Mm-hmm.
And those who did write that down, they got over their hearts were healed quicker, the stress levels were lower,
Right.
and compared to those who did not do anything about it, they just stuffed it.
Never stuff it. What's the other thing where it says, I know it's in the Bible somewhere, but if you not renounce, is that the right word, where you speak what you're feeling, or your, what's the word about it? Like, you have to like say it out loud in order for it to fully let go, or fully heal, or fully, there's a name for it. I know, you know what I'm going with that?
Well, renounce is when you're, like, to say, I'm never going to be successful in life.
Okay.
Then you have to renounce that.
So it's not that word. It's, I can't remember what order it is, but if you speak what you're feeling and let it out, it's a lot better than holding it in and exploding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll have to look up the right terminology for that.
Hey, that's where it's talking about. If you have a disappointment and you talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like, well, if you're disappointed in me, can you tell me why you're disappointed? And
Yeah.
that gets into the emotional area, where once we get disappointed, it's almost like, in order to control, do you know what anger is for?
Do I know what it's for?
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's a loaded question, but
To
anger
make
can
you
be for
mad?
anything. Yeah, because you're mad. But what anger usually, when I get angry and I get loud, I'm usually trying to control the situation.
Oh, okay.
That's what anger does.
Yeah. Okay.
Anger tries to control it, so you shut up and you do my way.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
And that's why it's pride.
Mm.
Prideful. Anger gets, yep, you need to listen to me. And
It's like, oh, snap.
then that's when the person feels all disappointed. Oh, okay, I got to listen to him.
Just like with dogs, the louder the bark, the more scared the other dog will get.
Very much so. Expectation is the root of all heartache.
Mm. Yeah.
If anybody out there, if you have any other good ones on disappointment, please put them in that comment below, because there's so many out there. There's a prayer that we were going to end with, unless the Lord puts anything else on your heart. I heard that, I don't remember maybe I can get the link, and you can put the link in the Facebook. It's this sermon in his name.
Yeah, I can definitely put that in the description.
But the prayer that he came up with, it says, Father, help me to relabel disappointment as you are ordering my steps.
Mm.
And even when I say the words, I can feel my spirit move.
Yeah.
Because disappointment, it's almost like two paradoxes. Disappointment over here, I'm used to being disappointed in my past life.
Mm-hmm.
But now I got to think with this prayer, when I say, Father, help me to relabel disappointment as you are ordering my steps. So whenever disappointment ever comes into our life, because we're going to be disappointed many times till Jesus comes back.
And
not that we
all the
want to
time.
be. But it's like when you know your tire's flat, you got to get out and change it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, whenever disappointment comes, try to think of it as a flat tire, and you got to switch it. Okay, God, what are you ordering my steps to this time, Lord?
Mm-hmm.
That way you can get out of that disappointment real quick. I wrote down a couple things.
The verses?
Yeah, the verses
Right here.
on disappointment and how to overcome disappointment. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. It's a very well-known verse. A lot of people know it. It says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Because my understanding was, hey, I was expecting you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm hurt. But it says, lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways. That means all of my living ways, all of my thinking ways, all of my life. In all of my ways, acknowledge him, and he will make my path straight.
Yeah.
Where has our thinking, or should I say, where has our stinking thinking got us?
In trouble, at least for me.
And whenever we're disappointed, that's not good thinking.
Mm-mm. Put me down.
And the last one is Isaiah 40:31. I'll let you read that one. In the yellow.
But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Love that one. I think my favorite version of that is when churches do that and have like a little kid say it. It's just like it hits you hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. I love that one.
Trust in the Lord, trust in friends,
Mm.
to hope. And that's what this podcast is all about. We hope that someone out there can hear some of these ways to deal with your disappointment and that you can overcome it. We have to feel it. We have to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to talk about it. And then write it in the sand, or even do what that study talked about, where you write it out. My sister, I love her dearly. I know that when she went through a tough time in her life, she didn't know what to do. And I said, hey, what I did when I first moved into the safe house, when I was just getting off drugs, I didn't know what to do. And I just wrote it all out. And I said, just start writing your heart out. And she said that she broke one night and she's just crying and she wrote it all out. And then the Lord spoke to her after that.
There you go.
So
It works.
you
I
guys
promise.
out there, that was Isaiah 40:31. Look it up. You can trust in the Lord. You'll find new strength. You can soar high on the wings of eagles. You can run and not grow weary. And you can walk and not faint. We got to walk.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to walk together with you and share hope with you.
Very true.
Until next time.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. Just real quick before you guys go, if you guys feel like this is for somebody who is feeling disappointment, and you don't have like a way to say it to them, I guess you could share it. That helps us out a little bit. If you guys haven't done already, please like and subscribe. It's free. It kind of lets us know how many people are watching, even though we get the view count, but it just helps us see who actually wants to stay up to date with us. So for those that have been here since the beginning, thank you. For those who are new, welcome.
Yep.
And we'll see you in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks or so.
So, yeah, thanks guys for joining us.
Take care. Bless you.
Bye.
Bye.